Hey everyone, this is Sabrina here, and today we are going to have another episode of the Coach's Kitchen, and we're going to make red wine mushroom risotto, and I'm going to talk to you all about creating millionaire morning rituals. So what we've got happening right now is just 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating up in a bit of a larger saucepan, and I've got about 5.5 cups of chicken stock that I'm heating up in this pan over here. I'm just going to try and bring that to a simmer. So I'm going to take a second just to say hi to everyone in the comments. I'll be able to see you all in my iPad. Let me know where you are watching from. And yeah, tell me what time of day it is for you. It is 7 o'clock, so we've got a glass of red wine. We're going to have some fun today. Paul is helping out, and he'll show you the ingredients that we have and what we're working with. Alrighty, so like I said, this is going to be a red wine mushroom risotto. So we have our mushrooms, we have some arborio rice, we have a small onion diced up, we have half a cup of Parmesan grated, we've got 2 tablespoons of butter, we have a shallot diced up, and about half a cup of red wine. I'm using a red wine from Spain, but you can use whatever you have. So like I said, here we've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating up, and 5.5 cups of chicken stock. So my goal is to get this to a simmer, and I'm gonna head on over to here. So what I'm gonna do now that we've got the olive oil heating up a little bit, I'm gonna turn the heat up, and I'm gonna throw in my onions. Now I have all of my ingredients prepped ahead of time, and this is definitely something that I recommend doing. It's called mise en place, and it just makes everything so much easier. Right? It's like in business, if you go into a launch, you want to have all of your launch materials and assets ready to go. And that's kind of how I think about morning rituals and morning mindset routines. I think it's really just about making sure that you are ready for the day and you have absolutely everything that you need. So I'm going to throw a little bit of salt and pepper on this. Perfect. Now, remember, you are going to have some salt in your chicken stock, so you don't want to put too much. The first time I made risotto, I made that mistake. I had way too salty chicken stock, and I remember my mom was like, put a potato in it, it'll soak up all the salt. It didn't. So, under salt. You can always add more later, but it's very difficult to take it away. Alrighty, so we'll let that heat up. We also have our sous chef today. Say hello, Miss Bunny. She is hanging out, hoping for some scraps. I don't know if she'll get any. She's probably twice the size since you saw her last. She has grown so fast. And she eats everything. She eats absolutely everything. So morning routines are something that are so personal to the individual person, right? It's something that we kind of make as we go. So the first thing that I would go ahead and say with morning routines is you really want to be mindful of what is it that you try out that you really like and enjoy. Is it journaling? Is it saying affirmations off? Is it having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? Is it meditating? Is it going outside? Is it taking your dog for a walk? Whatever that might be, just really pay attention to what are the things that actually light you up. I think that we really just need to first have an understanding for each of us as individuals of what is it that I want my morning routine to do for me? So is it that you want to get your energy right? Do you want to get the heavy stuff of the day out of the way? What is it that you need to do to have the best day possible? Now, from the perspective of a multiple 7-figure business owner, for me, the thing that's really helpful in the mornings is to make sure that I have time for myself to fill my own cup. Because when you are serving at such a high level, there's so many other people who look to you and depend on you, whether that's team members or clients. So for me, my mornings are really an opportunity for me to recharge and pour into myself. So for me, the things that I like doing are reading some sort of spiritual book or mindset book, doing some journaling, having a cup of tea, going outside. Something that I realized recently that I manifested about this apartment that we have is I've always said that I wanted to live somewhere with a view. And hands down, we have the best view in the entire city of Edinburgh, and that is something that for me, I'm going to be really mindful of moving forward. Whenever I do pick future properties or places for us to live, does it have a view that really lights me up and inspires me? So we've got our onions going here. We're gonna let them cook for about 5 minutes until they start to get translucent. Our chicken stock is still boiling up. Then we're gonna start adding in our rice and our different elements and things like that. and check the comments so I can see who's watching. Hi, Delon. Hey, Joe. Yes, I am based in Europe. Hey, Jessica. Jessica, this is a vegetarian recipe. It's not vegan because we do have butter, but there is no meat in this recipe. So it's just going to be a red wine mushroom risotto, and it's going to be really yummy and fun. I'm not going to add anything else in here like peas, but you definitely could add in some peas if you're looking for a little bit of extra veg. So we're just going to cook this up. So when it comes down to Millionaire morning rituals, one of the big things that I think people really struggle with is they put a lot of focus on mindset and energy and affirmations and journaling, but they forget to claim and own their power. And what that means is you can have amazing intentions, but if your actions don't match that, it's not going to get you anywhere. So if you do want to go ahead and have an incredible day and make a ton of money, but then you don't hop on a sales call or make a pitch or follow up with a lead, you kind of miss the point. The idea of a morning ritual is to set you up to have the best possible day, but that's only going to happen if you take the actions that you need to. So something that I talk about a lot, and you might have heard me say before, and my clients hear me say this all the time, is that every day there are 3 things that we need to focus on: clients, content, and cash. So clients meaning we need to follow up with the people that we serve, and we need to check in with them and deliver and overperform and just make sure that they are fully poured into, because they're absolutely going to be our best sales tool. Referrals, word of mouth, testimonials, that is what's going to make it happen. And it's so much cheaper to retain an existing client than it is to get a new one. The second piece is content. So right now I can cook dinner and do a live stream at the same time, but through this process you're having an opportunity to get to know me better. I can talk about what I believe to be true, and you're getting valuable content that you can then take and apply to your business. So have that focus on content every single day, especially if you're an online business owner. The third piece that we want to be focusing on every single day is cash. And this is the piece that so many people say they want, but they don't do anything about it. So if you want to have cash in your business, that means you need to be participating in sales activities and actually taking action. So the question that I want you to play with is, what can I do to make money today? What is it that I can do to bring new business into our company and into our organization? That's the thing that we need to make sure we're playing with and considering every single day. So clients, content, and cash. All right, so we've got these onions cooking up and they're looking nice. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is start adding in my rice. So here I believe I have 1.5 cups of aquarello rice, which looks like this. It's just risotto rice, and you can go ahead and get it at the shop really easily. So I will stir this in for just about a minute, and then I will add in my wine. Now, the secret to risotto is you never stop stirring. I wish I was kidding, but literally you never, ever, ever stop stirring. So that's what's going to make sure that it just gets really fluffy and creamy, but also that it doesn't stick to each other. So we want to make sure that all of this is nicely coated. Perfect. And now we will go ahead and add our wine. So this is 1/2 cup of wine. I'm just going to keep stirring that until it is absorbed. And I will make sure to link this recipe for you. The recipe is from foodandwine.com. Okay. We will just stir that in, and we hear little Bonnie running around. She is just a hoot and a half, if you ask me. Although I'm her mom, so I guess I'm obliged to say that. All right, so we're just gonna keep stirring this in until all of our rice is soaked up. So something that I think is surprising for people when they make risotto is they look at the amount of rice and they think, how is that going to feed me and all my family? And it's just because it absorbs all the liquid constantly, and it just explodes and balloons up. But that's only going to happen if we keep just stirring and make sure it absorbs all of the liquid. Now the next thing I want to go ahead and share with you is a really easy mindset exercise that you can add into your morning routine. Now this is something that I created for myself originally, and then I shared it with my clients. And I remember when I created this, I'm going to tell you exactly what the exercise is in a minute. But first, I remember when I created it, I was really struggling in my business. I was really up and down, really inconsistent. My mindset was all over the place. And the problem was that I just hated the idea of journaling for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour every day. Nothing could absolutely sound worse to me. So for me, I needed something that was really quick and easy. And so I thought, okay, what is it that I ultimately need to be in the best possible spot for the day? So what I realized was I needed to be grateful, I needed to be focused, and I needed to be asking for exactly what it is that I wanted. So the exercise I created and that I share with all of my clients is called 333. Really simple. You don't even need to write it down. You can literally just do it in your head. The idea is you come up with 3 things that you're grateful for. So I could say this awesome dinner we're about to have, this cute little bunny puppy, this little bonbon, we're grateful for her, and I'm grateful for my husband and cameraman today. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and ask is, what are 3 things that I want today? So 3 things that I wanted today were I wanted to enroll new clients into my program, I wanted to relax and have some time to myself, and I wanted to bring in some new income into my business. I said that twice. I wanted to go for a walk, whatever it might be. The next thing that I need to ask myself is, okay, let's get focused and let's start taking action. What are 3 things that I need to do today to be successful? So if I want to bring new income into my business, I need to pitch the Abundant AF Mastermind. And I got a bunch of applications over the last few days that I haven't had a chance to respond to because it was Paul's birthday and we were having lots of fun, so I need to respond to those. If I want to go for a walk, I need to go for a walk. I need to make time to go ahead and do that. If I want to have some time to myself, I need to make sure I spend time doing my morning routine. So I get super clear on those 3 things, and that is where I start and that is where I finish my day. It's a really simple exercise that anybody can do. All right, so at this point, our wine is pretty much incorporated into our risotto. We can see that it has completely soaked it up. Before we had all this wine at the bottom, and now it is into the rice. We can see it is starting to expand. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding in the stock a little bit at a time, and that's really the key here. So what I've got here is just a measuring cup, and I'm going to take a cup of stock and pour it into my risotto. So it's really helpful just to have this handy. Add a little more. Okay, and now again, we are just gonna keep stirring. We're not gonna stop, and you see all this liquid, but soon it's all going to be absorbed. If you try to add too much liquid at once, it's just never going to be able to absorb, and it's gonna be really tough. So never stop stirring and go a little bit at a time. Alrighty. So let me just go ahead and check in with the comments and see if we have any questions. As we're going through, if you do have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I would love to answer those for you. Delon says, thank goodness it's Friday. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Jessica, definitely go ahead and do 333. I've been sharing it for years. It's such a powerful exercise. Hey, Rebecca. Nope, not chicken, mushrooms. Oh, chicken broth. Yes, you can switch to a veggie-based broth. That's right, I did say chicken broth. If you switch to a veggie-based broth, you'll be just fine. I might go ahead and try that next time, see if I can make a nice veggie broth. But yes, you're right, I did say that. Okay, so we're just, even now, starting to see that a lot of the liquid is starting to absorb. That didn't take too long at all. And that's just the process that we're going to be repeating over and over again. We've got little bonbons sleeping at our feet here. I remember when we first got her, we were really going back and forth between the names Bonnie and Nessie because we wanted her to have a Scottish name, and Bonnie means pretty in Scottish, and Nessie like the Loch Ness Monster, and we decided on Bonnie, and then she would start like biting me and eating my hair, and I'd be like, we should have called you Nessie, but she's very pretty, so I think the name works for her. All right, so I'm just gonna keep stirring this and never stopping. Okay, so the next piece I would say about Millionaire Mornings that is really, really key here is we need to get ourselves into the best possible shape for the day, and that doesn't necessarily just mean physical shape, but it also means emotional shape, spiritual shape, shape as a leader. And I think that a lot of times we just throw ourselves into the day without really being ready for it. For me, I know that I can go into a day without exercising, and that's just fine for me. I don't think that Paul necessarily feels the same way. I'm sure he feels a lot better when he starts his day with exercise, which is why he goes to the gym almost every morning at 9 a.m. So I think it's really important to ask yourself, you know, if I were a tree and I needed nutrients, what would those nutrients be? What is it that would really set me up for the best possible day? There's another really great exercise that I like to give my clients where I ask them the question of, what are 5 things, 6 things, 7 things that if you did these every single day, at the end of the day, you would know that you had a good day? It doesn't necessarily mean that you made $1 million that day, but you would feel like, you know what, I had a good day. So for me, for example, I always feel like I have a good day when I do my hair and makeup. It's very strange, but I just feel like put together. I feel like I accomplished something. I feel like I did something. So with that in mind, me doing that is something that sets me up for success and has me feeling really good. For you, maybe you feel like you have a really good day every single day that you meditate, or maybe it's every single time that you go for a run or you take your dog for a walk or whatever that is. So the challenge that I want to go ahead and pose to you is do that every single day for 30 days and report back and tell me how it goes. And I think it's not just about tracking how you feel, although that's definitely important, but also just track your income, track your leads, track how many people are following you on social media, track your engagement. We want to go ahead and see how this is actually making an impact in our lives and in our businesses. Alrighty, let's add some more chicken stock. And again, you can substitute this for veggie. So at this point, we're just adding it about 1/2 of a cup at a time. And we just need it to absorb in, and then as it starts to reduce, then you add a little bit more. So this will take us about 20 minutes by the time we're finished. So I think we've probably got about 15 more minutes on this. Then later we'll add in our mushrooms and our butter and our cheese, and it is going to be delicious. Now, while I do have you here, I did want to let you know that I have a mastermind starting very soon. We officially kick off on September 14th, but we are going to get into the Slack channel now. I'm also going to have a coffee chat, like meet and greet next week. So if that is something that you're interested in, I do have a new business and mindset mastermind called Abundant AF starting very soon. I will go ahead and drop the link to that later, but if you just go to my website or follow me on Instagram, then you'll be able to find the link quite easily. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about mindset today, but also the reason why I wanted to create the mastermind, is because I think we have a really warped perception of what mindset actually is. I think a lot of people think mindset is just a practice. It's the journaling prompts, it's the affirmations, it's the tapping or the meditating, whatever. But I just see that as a tool to cultivate your mindset, because at the end of the day, we all have a mindset. It's just either a really empowering one or a really disempowering one. And for me, a lot of the secret to my success has been my mindset and my belief in possibility, and that I can have it all and I can make it happen. Because the thing is, you can only get what you believe that you can have, right? If you don't believe that you can receive $100,000 in a month, that's never going to be possible for you. So for me, my mindset ultimately determines what it is that I will receive in my life. It is my proof of possibility. So for me, all these tools is just about cultivating that. And I think that a lot of times the conversations we have around mindset are really superficial, because the big hiccup with mindset obviously is limiting beliefs. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I talk about how limiting beliefs create limiting behaviors. And I think that this is so important because it's not just about what you tell yourself. It's also about what you do. And that's why earlier when we were talking about 333, we talked about this idea of really making sure that your intentions are matching your actions and that you're showing up and actually doing what you need to do. So if you say you want to have a 6-figure business or a multiple 6-figure business, but you're never selling and you're never getting on live and you're never following up with leads, then I don't necessarily believe you, and you're not actually going to get what you want. Because, you know, if you sit on your ass, there's only so much the universe can do, right? I believe that it's a co-creation. I believe that there's a higher power guiding us and looking out for us and making things happen and moving mountains. But the thing is, you can move mountains too. right? It's not just about leaving things up to luck or chance or fate. I think that if you do that, your life will pass you by and you'll be very, very unhappy. You know, no one's coming to save you. That's the hardest thing that I ever had to learn, because I always thought that my mom was going to be the one to come and save me. And she did for a very long time, and then one day she didn't, and I had no other choice but to save myself. And so that was the story that I told myself that held me back so, so much. And if I hadn't addressed that piece, no amount of journaling or affirmations or telling myself that I was going to be a millionaire would have really meant anything. So the question that I want you to play with is, what is the story that I'm telling myself over and over again? Is it that I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I can't do hard things, I never finish anything? What is it? And then the next question that I would invite you to sit with is, who would I be without my story? The answer is whoever the fuck you want to be, right? You can literally be anybody you want to be as soon as you ditch your story, because you are living out your story. You are its main character. And what you don't realize is that you are unconsciously writing the narrative, but it is time to turn the page and write a new chapter. So figure out what is the story that you are operating off of and running with and playing with, and then ask yourself, how can I change that? How can I do something different? How can I make my mind and my actions and my intentions match what it is that I ultimately want? I think that so many of us get caught up on vision boards and things like that, and we're just like, I want a Chanel bag and I want $1 million and I want this, but we don't actually do anything with it because we don't actually believe that we can have it. So it's just like this fun little exercise. But the truth is, your desires are your destiny. Whatever it is that you want in your heart, it was placed there for a reason, so you have to show up for it, right? The universe is giving you all the nudges it can. It's putting it there right in front of you. And the other thing also that I want to go ahead and add for anyone who's listening to this and thinking, you know, this is just a little bit too woo-woo for my taste, mindset is science, right? Even if you think about something that you want to manifest, right? I want to manifest Paul and I need to buy a car. So let's say I want to manifest a black Audi Q7. If that's the thing that I'm focusing on and thinking about and telling myself affirmations and journaling on, when we go down the road, we're going to see 10 black Audi Q7s. Why? Because our brain is seeing a million things at once, but it only chooses to process, receive, and put in front of us a few things at a time. But if I'm focusing on that car, I'm going to start seeing it everywhere, right? Mindset and affirmations literally create new neural pathways in your brain. It's not just some woo-woo hippie stuff, law of attraction. It is literally science. And I think that's something that I bring up just because I serve so many different clients, and I have a lot of people who come from corporate and maybe aren't used to yoga and spirituality and mindset and things like that, and so they think that it's just wishy-washy, but actually there is a lot of scientific basis for this. And so I think that's something that I would lean on if you are feeling a little bit nervous about this and like you can't fully resonate with it. But the main thing that I want you to take away from today is that your desires are your destiny and your intentions need to match your actions. If you want to go ahead and show up and play big, then you need to do that. And part of that starts with your morning routine and your mindset rituals. So what we talked about was, it's not just about making sure that you are, from a mindset perspective, showing up the way that you need to, but all aspects of your health, spiritual health, emotional health, physical health. For me, I know that I do so much better during the day when I've had some really great time with my husband. So that means my favorite thing is to make a cup of tea together. I have a coffee and tea bar down below. I've got like 28, 30 types of different loose leaf teas. I want to make a cup of tea and I want to go sit on our deck and I want to look out at the water and the mountains and things like that. So that's what I want to do to make sure that I'm in the best possible mood and ready to go. I know that I do so much better when I'm in a clean environment, so I like to make the bed. I like to make sure that the kitchen counters are clean, things like that. We've got our cameraman behind us. Tell us how the risotto's looking.
Well, it's looking good. It's smelling even better.
Huh.
I'm getting very hungry
Are you?
watching it. Yep. Yep. Looks beautiful.
It'll be ready soon. Do we think that we should give Paul a little bite soon?
I reckon in 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. I'm also curious what everyone else would like to see us cook for Coach's Kitchen. We're going into fall, and I've started Googling like fall recipes. So I got like some butternut squash, and I wanted to make a butternut squash soup for Paul. I found these like spiced apple pancakes. I found like a sweet potato, pomegranate, feta cheese, wild rice salad. So I also found this, like, it looks like this, and it's just a little Dutch oven, but it looks like a pumpkin, and it's got a little pumpkin lid.
Claire asked about the corporate flowers.
So I want to make that. The flowers?
She said, have the corporate flowers been delivered?
The corporate flowers have been delivered. Paul is going to demonstrate the corporate flowers. So I love these because they look like little pumpkins. I don't know what type of flower this is, but it literally looks like pumpkins. So this is from Narcissus in Edinburgh, and they're epic. These are gonna bloom into lilies. I think some of the lilies over there might be open. Yeah, that little one's open. So they're gonna be some really beautiful red lilies. But yeah, I love these.
They do look like pumpkins.
They do look like pumpkins.
So that's one of 6 bunches.
Yeah, Paul said that's one of 6 bunches. So yeah, they are however many, but they did such a good job. But yeah, so for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? Paul surprised me, and he arranged for some professional flowers. They do corporate flowers, and they've got like a flower school and things like that to start doing the flowers for the house. And he told me like, they're coming. And I was like, yeah. And then it got to the point where he was like, okay, they'll be here in 5 minutes. And I just did not want to get changed. So I hid in the bathroom very, very quietly. And I overheard their conversation, and so they were asking Paul, like, on the dining table, do you want tall flowers or short flowers? And so I texted him, like, short, whites, pinks, anemones, corals, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, they did such a good job, though. Do you see how much thicker this is now? So when we started, the rice was so much smaller, but it was also so much lower, and now it's really starting to fill up the pan. And we've still got a little bit more time, a little bit more stock, and then we'll be finished. And then we will cook up our mushrooms, throw this in here, add in the butter. The butter is really the secret, I would go ahead and say, with risotto, because that's what makes it creamy. So if you've ever wondered why is it so creamy, it's the butter. Butter makes everything good.
Is it unsalted butter? Maybe that's why it was salty last time.
Unsalted butter, yeah. So unsalted butter. With the chicken stock that I did, I diluted it just so that it wasn't as salty, but I would definitely go for something low sodium, or just go ahead and make your own. But you definitely don't want it to be too salty. And any pieces that you do add salt, I would say wait till the end. Or just like earlier when we put in the onions, really lightly salted, don't do it a ton. The other thing also with pepper, you don't want to do a ton of pepper at the beginning of any recipe, just because it kind of like burns and gets bitter throughout the taste of cooking it. So butter or pepper is more something you want to add toward the end. All right, so this is really nice. We'll add the last little bit of the chicken stock, and then we will be finished with this little guy. Okay. All right, Bonbon, you gotta move. Excuse me, miss. Excuse me. So we're gonna get ready to cook up our mushrooms very soon. Keep stirring this, never stop stirring. You've noticed that I've really tried not to stop stirring the risotto ever. And we're just gonna let that cook up. Okay. Let's melt the butter. I think that I should have done this sooner. Oh well, it'll be okay. So we've got 2 tablespoons of butter going into another saucepan. This is too high. Okay. This does not want to play with me. Alright, let's flip this. Nope. Cool. So we'll let that melt down, and then we're going to put in our mushrooms, shallots, all that stuff. And then soon we'll add it into the risotto and I'll show you what it's gonna look like. Okay. Let's do this. I did mess this piece up a little bit. I would start the mushrooms slightly earlier. Paul's looking at me very unhappy because he's hungry. But yes, I would start the mushrooms earlier than what I did, but alas, it's okay. The oven's wigging out. There we go. Cool. Exciting. Okay, now I'm going to add in my mushrooms and my shallots. Everyone says don't crowd the mushrooms. It'll be fine. Crowd the mushrooms. You'll live. Also, the other thing is you don't necessarily need them to like fry up and saute because they're going to go into something creamy, so it'll be just fine. I promise it will be just fine. See if I can move this over. Yes, I can. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got tons of mushrooms here. Paul, do you think it's time for a taste test yet?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the mushrooms that I used today were chestnut mushrooms, but you can use whatever type of mushrooms you like. I would pick something on the wild side or more brown. I wouldn't necessarily go for like a white mushroom. Okay. Cooking these up. These are going to cook for about 10 minutes. And then when all of this is good and ready to go, you can see that the risotto is totally absorbed now. So I'm just going to reduce the heat on this. All we're going to do is we're just going to add in the mushrooms into the risotto, add in half a cup of cheese, and that's it. We're good to go. If you want, you can top it with some parsley. Paul's not really a parsley fan, so we won't be doing that today, but that is the recipe. So at this point, we're just going to open it up to random questions for the Flip. Why do you look upset?
I like parsley.
I wouldn't say you like parsley.
I let the record state that I've never complained about parsley.
I wouldn't say you're a parsley fan.
This is an attack on parsley.
It's not an attack on parsley. It's
I
an
think
attack
parsley's
on Paul.
great. Poor parsley.
Yeah. But look how much thicker this got from when we started. Can everyone see the risotto? Good. Yeah, it got so much thicker. Also, let us know how you like the more like front on camera, because before we were kind of doing it from the side, but we just kept feeling like you can't really see what we're cooking. Also, let me check the comments. Did you tell us what you guys wanted us to cook on Coach's Kitchen? That is what I want to know. So I'm going to make sure we're cooking what you like. Nisa says, pumpkin Alfredo, I pinned it the other day, but I haven't tried it yet. I love that. Jessica says, I go mad with vegan butter, so I feel you. I was literally typing, what are corporate flowers? Pretty, oh nice. More veggie and vegan, please. I can do that. Megan is cooking lunch, that's awesome. Would love it if you did supper clubs. I can do that. Yeah. Cute. Yeah, I can do more veggie-based recipes. A recipe that we need to go ahead and do is spiced chickpea tahini wraps. So the recipe is from Thug Kitchen, which is just like a vegan cookbook. And he's very like crass about it. He's like, eat your fucking vegetables, which is why it's called Thug Kitchen. But yeah, he's really funny and his recipes are super good. So we'll go ahead and try some of those, but that recipe is from there and I made it for Paul and he really, really liked it. We've also made pecan taco mix before, which I'm probably going to make some of those this weekend, and that's vegan and it's really, really good. The only thing is if you add sour cream or cheese, then obviously it's not vegan, but the taco mix itself is. Okay, so these mushrooms are cooking up quick. But yeah, let me show you the pumpkin thing that I want. It's like 259 pounds, so I'm like trying to tell myself that I don't need it, but I'm so tempted. Pumpkin croquette. Stop. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure if everyone can see this. Paul, let me know if it's in frame. Yeah? But so that's what I want. But it's a Dutch oven, but it looks like a pumpkin. The problem is that, like, technically, I don't think it is fall yet. Everyone's like, it's not fall till end of September, but it is in my mind. And also I'm an American, which means Thanksgiving, and I'm very excited to have an American Thanksgiving this year because I've never hosted my own Thanksgiving. I've always been to, like, my mom's or my dad's or somebody else's. So poor Paul's gonna have to eat a 20-pound turkey. But it's gonna be good. All right, let's do some taste testing. Also, yeah, vegan butter. You don't need to use butter. Use like vegetable oil or something with the mushrooms. Good. Good, good, good. Do you think these mushrooms look pretty good? I would say so. Okay, so let's get my recipe back. So now I'm going to add in the mushrooms and the cheese. Let's go for it. So mushrooms are in. I'll turn that one off. And I'm going to stir these in. And I will add in my cheese, and then I will do salt and pepper. You can also do vegan cheese if you're vegan. It's got a nice purpley color from the red wine. Okay, so this is half a cup of grated Parmesan. To be honest, I did a little bit more because I love cheese and I make no apologies for that. Okay. So we've got all that butter from the mushrooms, thickening everything up and making it really creamy. So now we're gonna need Paul in just a minute for some taste testing, and then we will salt and pepper to taste. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Hot.
Paul doesn't like hot things. I like made him a casserole for his birthday, his favorite childhood dish ever, and he waited like 45 minutes until it was ice cold to eat it.
I think we can definitely use some salt.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe more Parmesan too.
More Parmesan?
Mm.
You can never have too much Parmesan.
Yeah, I think that with then some extra Parmesan will be perfect. What did you think?
I haven't tasted it yet.
Hurry up.
I know. Parmesan also adds salt, so be mindful of
Exactly.
that. Good. Let's add some cheese. It's definitely undersalted at this point, but that's a good problem to have compared to last time. Okay. Let's try that. Let's get some salt. I like this salt because it's easier. Remember, never stop stirring. You think that's enough salt? Alright. Come taste test, Thompson.
You check the comments.
Check the comments.
Oh yeah.
Good?
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yep.
No more salt?
Nope.
Okay.
Mmm. Yummo.
There we go. I'm gonna put a pinch more just because I'm annoying. All right, let's see the comments. Claire says, one question I would love to ask is how do you hold having it all and hold desire, hunger for more? So for me, the big thing that I would say is I believe that it just gets to keep getting better and better. And so I think it's possible to both be grateful for what you already have and desire even more. I don't think that makes you even less grateful. I think that's a story that we've been told where it's like, just be grateful for what you have. Like, why are you asking for more? I don't believe that. I don't buy into that. So I think that's just the piece that I would play with. Is there any part of me that believes that I can't both be grateful for what I have and desire more? And so the way that I just kind of tell that to myself is like, it gets to keep getting better and better. Like, it's already amazing and I'm so grateful and happy with everything that I have, and it gets to keep getting better and better. And that's also like the trick. Like, if you're in a shit situation and you can still find gratitude for something, then you're doing pretty good, right? Like, if all of the business fell away tomorrow and I still had Bonnie and Paul, that would be pretty fucking amazing. If everything fell away tomorrow and I still had my health, that would be pretty amazing. So just finding ways to be grateful for literally everything that you have in your life, no matter how big or how small. I think that energy is just going to attract more and more and more, because when you're so focused on what you don't have and what you don't want, you're just going to keep getting more of the same. So I hope that answers your question, Claire. Go ahead and let me know. But yeah, Paul can come say hi. He can get back from behind the camera. Bonnie will come say hi. I'll hold this up so you can see it. Hopefully this isn't too hot.
Bonnie's asleep.
Bonnie's asleep. So we've got our red wine wild mushroom risotto. We're gonna eat this up, top it with some Parmesan.
Yum.
Parsley if you want to get crazy.
Yum.
You know, bun.
Bonnie's hungry. Can she have any of this? I'm joking. I'm gonna eat it all before she does it. Hey.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been so much fun. I will see you next week. If you are interested in the Abundant AF Mastermind or just working with me in any capacity, please reach out to me. I think a lot of people think that they have to be making a gazillion dollars before they hire me, but the truth is I work with entrepreneurs at every level, even if you're still in your 9 to 5 or if you're already making 7 figures in your business. I definitely have a program for you, and myself and my team, including my husband Paul and our incredible support coaches, would love to help you. So send me a DM, just reach out, and you absolutely can have it all, including this risotto recipe, which I will link for you. And thanks everyone. I hope you have an awesome weekend. Bye everyone. Cheers.